Hey there, blade fans. Welcome back to this Old Sword Blade Reviews. And you may be looking at this knife and saying, hey, you reviewed that not that long ago, maybe like a week ago or so, by video timestamp calendars. Yes, this is the Microtech MSI, a new knife for 2023 that uses a bar lock system they refer to as RAM-LOK, powered by a spring down there and a sliding double actuator with a bar connected underneath, or how else I can explain that. Well, and this one they began making in the Grenade. I understand, listening to Tony Marfione's videos, that they may start changing the mill pattern and move away from the frag for a little while and into something else that's got some grooves, and so on and so forth. So since you're familiar with this one, they came out with, and this, by the way, is going for somewhere in the neighborhood of 260, 270, I think, directly from Microtech. Well, if you want to drop about $100 off, you can save yourself some money with this guy, which is the injection molded econo version of the MSI. This one I happen to get in a partially serrated, which I actually like and use. And yet, what we have here is, you can hear this, get it close to the mic. You can hear that crisp, high-pitched sound. Give you this one. No sound. So the G10 is has a little less ring to it, but you can also tell because we have a pattern here that seems to have been adapted from the old tri-wing screw head design. See these little guys? I wonder if I can get it. We'll see how close I can get it. There we go. Pulling some focus there. So you can see that little pattern that they molded in. So yeah, this is injection molded, and they have done a very good job with no leftover deposits of, I think it's FRN, so it's fiberglass reinforced nylon, which is moldable. They either call it GRN or FRN, glass reinforced nylon, or fiberglass reinforced nylon. Uses everything the same as the original MSI. The screws are the same. The blade is certainly the same, M390MK. The action is the same as the original. Very smooth ball bearing sort of action there. And you can, yes, middle finger flick it, no problem. But you're saving about $100. And these are also coming in a desert tan. And I even saw an original batch that they turned out that was in a white or off-white. And they're probably going to turn out some other colors since they can do pretty much what they want. Well, both with G10 and with injection molded. But I think they got a little more latitude with the injection molding. Same clip. Somebody told me that on their stitch, which has the same construction, that they bent the clip very easily. If you look up a bent pocket clip on knives and kind of Google that, you will find every knife pretty much in existence out there. People have complained about the clips bending. So I don't know that this is any more bendable than some of those others. I have noticed that because there is a slot here to access the screws on the fold over, that it may not be as susceptible as, let's say, the SOCOM Elite Auto, which has a different setup that's attached with screws up here and the clip begins down there. Anyway, I won't get too into that. However, it is such a nice knife and is so solid that I'm considering making it my EDC for the next few weeks, and I'll let you know how that goes. Why? Well, because it's $100 less. I tend not to carry real expensive knives. Not that this is super expensive, coming in under $3. In the knife world, that's probably not too much for you guys buying Reichs and other knives that are quite expensive. But it gives me the opportunity to really try the knife out, even beat it around a little bit, and see what kind of a user it is. It should be a good user with a sheep's foot and still with a very usable point, even a piercing point. Some people have said, well, it's got a bluntish tip and I need a point on my knife. Well, I think coming in this way, should you want to jab with it, you can certainly present that point. It just happens to be down a little bit from what you would normally expect on a knife with a point. Okay? So not a whole lot to be said for the new one, other than the fact that it is injection molded. Some people might be concerned about flex. Let's see what I can do for you here. I'm pushing with both thumbs, and I get no discernible amount of flex. If you've got a very powerful grip, you might be able to get it to move. But what we've got, interestingly, on the inside of this one is this kind of bridge work, this skeletonizing they do in the plastic, making it even lighter. Okay, so there you can see the steel liners on both sides. They go about halfway back, and they are attached with screws right there. The screws on this are all steel. The back spacer is titanium. Okay, so for your money, you're getting some pretty good materials. You're getting M390 MK, which is their new proprietary steel, very much like Bowler M390. I just think they changed the. I'd like to say they changed something with the carbon content. I was reading on it where they have it within tighter parameters. So they get basically a purer steel of their liking than if they were just ordering M390. That's as much as I know. You can do a lot of research on it. I think Laren out at Knife Nerds wrote a pretty long article about it, so you can kind of get into the nitty-gritty with that. There's your plate covering the spot for the clip on the left side, easily transferable to the left side. Should you bend the clip because you caught it on something, and that's usually what happens, is it's in the pocket and somebody catches it on whatever, and then your body moves and the clip just bends out. There's a lot of different recommendations people have made. You can take the clip off, turn it around, and rebend it. You can use some pliers underneath if they're not too grippy and you don't want to mung up the steel. Lots of different ways to bend a clip back. Should the clip have been maybe, and I'm not saying I bent these, okay, I'm just going on other people's experience, but is it spring tempered? Well, it certainly has spring to it, so they've done something to the clips to give them that return. Otherwise, they're just going to bend out there and stay. Maybe there's going to be some custom titanium clips up the line. Who knows? Here's an interesting thing. So I'm just going to quick give you the overall, because all the specs are on the other knife. It's a 9-inch knife, and it has a 3.9-inch blade, okay? But here's the interesting thing. Again, Microtech can give you the specs. You can watch my video on the original MSI, whatever you'd like to do. But let's put the original on the scale, see what we get. And we get 5.24 ounces. We'll call it 5 1/4 ounces, okay? 5 1/4 ounces on the original. And 4.75 on the injection molded. So half an ounce, right? Half an ounce difference. If you're interested, half an ounce lighter in the pocket than the original MSI and $100 lighter, more or less. That makes it even more compelling as an EDC. It's well under 5 ounces. Yeah, you don't really have your ounce per inch. That's fine. It'd have to be about 4 ounces in order for that to occur. And that ain't going to happen with a knife that's 9 inches long, I don't think. Beautiful edge on it. Shall we test the edge and see what they're doing with those? Hang on a second. All right, here we go. And I was very surprised with my test of the stitch the other day. And this is no different. Maybe even a little smoother. And let's get into the serrations. Oh, they're doing great too. Pretty incredible. That is, I would say, out of the box, a perfect or nearly perfect edge. You want to make it even sharper, you can certainly put it to the strop. How about a compare? So we got a half ounce lighter, we got a very sharp blade, identical blade. Well, I'm going to say one thing I noticed, and it might just be on my copies. I don't know if you can see it, but you've got kind of a stonewash there on this original MSI with a longitudinal brushed satin, okay? And on the swedge and on the flat, we have that stonewash. What I noticed here, I don't even know if the light's going to pick it up. May not. I thought I saw some vertical grind lines kind of underneath that, and I don't know if it even is going to show. I'd have to get the light just right. But we're going to call them the same for now. I don't think they're using different blades in this. It could be just batch to batch, the differences. Here's a compare with the Stitch RAM-LOK against the two MSIs. You can get them all centered and lined up nice and neat. And the Stitch is slightly shorter, different handle configuration, obviously, Borka design. This is an original Microtech design as far as I know. And we can see that the blade is ever so slightly shorter on the Stitch, but not by that much. And the knife is pretty much the same length. A little bit longer on these, almost 4 inch and slightly less here. As far as the serrations go, I'm going to say that if you don't mind the interruption of the main grind, this is a good way to go. Years ago, I wouldn't buy a knife when I was buying a lot of Benchmades. I wouldn't buy one that didn't have the partial serration because I found them so useful in just EDC stuff, cutting anything that the blade had some trouble slipping on, whether it was a heavy marine rope or whether it was plastic strapping. These things just bite right through it. And they can be resharpened, maybe not as easily as a smooth edge, but just about every sharpening company now is making ceramic rods and so forth to be able to get in there. Or you get your triangle sharpener from Spyderco. Lots of ways to sharpen these. On this side, you see they're not so evident because they ground them in from the left side. Everything else is the same on the knife. Markings on the blade, the same. There you go. Devoid of any markings on the right side. And just the steel type and the Microtech emblem on the left side of the knife. Everything else exactly the same. How about the width? The widths are the same. Let's verify that. So in inches, there's the width on the original MSI, 0.54. 0.54, you can't get more exact than that. So what you've got, again, Is it a more budgety version? Is a more budgety version of the MSI. You may like that. I don't think there's any reason to not trust the material. Is the G10 that's milled from a block of material going to be a little stronger? Possibly. Less flex? Possibly. But from everything I've seen so far, this is a great way to go. And you can get these on both Microtech's Tuesday drops, as well as on sites like NC Blade. I think they might be a few out on Knife Center. There might be a few available on Southern Edges. Tactical Elements. Those are some of the ones that I'm thinking of. White Mountain, no, unfortunately. They just may not have a line into Microtech, and I know Microtech has a lot of very stringent requirements for carrying their knives, and you got to buy a lot of them. And my local gun store says they got to take whatever they give them. They can't say, I want one of these, one of those, one of these. So whatever shows up in a package is what they need to sell. So they have no say in the game. Anyway, let me know if you like this video. Don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. I'll be back with you soon. Got some customs coming in. Cool stuff. Dirk Pinkerton.